What's going on, everybody, and welcome to episode number 399.
Yes.
We are at the cusp of 400. We are right there. We are knocking on 400's door. We've got, I believe we did this one for last time when we got to 300, but
we did
one more episode. This one.
Yep.
Before we get to 400. My God. It's been a crazy road from 400. Like I said, at the end, we'll talk more about what's coming. But, hey, we're on time. As we're recording this live, we are doing this live like we always do. It is, well, we were going to do it was Monday, but it's 2 a.m., so it's officially the 4th of July. So happy 4th of July. We are actually doing this on the 4th of July. The 399th episode is the 4th of July. That's hilarious.
And
but
before 400.
Mm-hmm. But the books were not released on the 4th of July. The books for this review were released on
June 28, 2017, the last week of June.
So we're covering the last week of June's books. The first week of July's, which is July 5th's books, are going to be the ones that are part of 400. Keep an eye out on Dark Avenger C86. Yeah. I will have a Dark Avenger podcast, hopefully recorded soon, pre-400. And then I will have a post 400.
Yeah, but guys, this week we've got a ton of books, and this week I had a lot of reading.
I have to agree with you though, Michael. This week should have been our 400 because there were a lot of good books.
I did no seriously. In all my comic life, I did a lot of reading this week.
I definitely agree. And I will say this also. I'm just happy we were on time because if you guys remember, we did episode 398. What, 5 days ago?
Thursday, was it?
It was Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Friday,
Thursday.
Saturday,
Because
Sunday,
of that,
Monday. Monday. It's been 4 days since our last review, and we read every single one of these books within the past 4 days to make sure 300 was done, or 399 was done, and in the back. So all we have to worry about and focus on from Tuesday, the 4th of July, all the way through till next Monday,
400.
is 400.
Yep.
So we will be focusing on all the books starting tomorrow, actually, or today, since it's the 4th of July, for 400.
All right. So as always, we're going to start with our digital books from
our independent companies.
And here you go.
Oh man, I was so happy to see this Star Trek: The Next Generation, Mirror Broken #2. Oh God, I am really liking this series. So Jean-Luc Picard in the Mirrorverse is now looking for his crew for the Enterprise. He's looking for his people that he trusts to bring onto the Enterprise. And he has the, she's not called the counselor on there. I forget what she's called. But he has the idea actually interview people to see who deserves a spot on the Enterprise and who doesn't. She's finding other people for him. And then he mentions, I need somebody to be my second in command, and he's like, I'm interested in talking with your former boyfriend, and we all know that's Riker. So in the ending where he ends up in a bar with Riker, he makes him the offer, they get into a bar fight, and then Riker's like, oh, you held your own. You're not the strongest person I've ever met, but you are definitely one of the toughest SOBs I know, so tell me the plan. This was a very good issue. I enjoyed it. J.K. Woodward's artwork is great, but I feel like the paint was a bit different this time. It felt more painted than it actually felt like I was watching an episode or like... Remember last issue I said it looked like I was actually watching still shots from the series? This time it was a bit darker, a bit more... I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I love J.K. Woodward's art. It definitely brings this book to life. I would definitely recommend Black Mirror. I'm only bringing up this book. As you guys know, I love reading Spawn casually, but Spawn 275, I'm not really happy with the way the artwork is going in this series. It kind of, The one important thing I have to make mention about in this book is Spawn gets his powers back, and we find out that it's not the suit that actually makes Al Simmons Spawn. It's Al Simmons that has the power. It's not the suit. And the less his enemies know, the better. So heaven, hell, they believe it's the suit. Let them believe it's the suit. The truth of the matter is it's Al Simmons who's the actual power behind Spawn. So they could keep the suit. The suit means nothing as long as there's no Al Simmons in it. And I love how they also kind of set a premonition up that Al is the greatest good, and he's going to lead this group of people at some point. We got SM down 09. What's going on? Oh, yeah, we're really late. What?
You said 09, it's H9.
H9.
Down,
oh,
H9.
I'm sorry. I said, it's H9. I see it. But, yeah, we're doing it late tonight, man. But I'm really happy with where they're going with Spawn. I'm glad he has his powers back to 100%, and now they're going to Japan. It's a really fun read. Again, though, I don't really review Spawn too often, but I do when something big happens, and this is definitely an issue. 275 is definitely an issue you will want to get your hands on. That's for sure. Saucer State issue 2. I'm done. There was very few things I really took away from this book that I liked. The president apparently has a baby that's half alien. And I don't know. It's just the world's reactions to the possibility that there are aliens out there and there's a possibility of an invasion. And I quite honestly just didn't care. The book just didn't give me that feeling like the first issue did. And it's not the type of book I'd be interested in. You might not be missing it too long, Mr. SM Down, because there might be a Spawn series if the movie does well. And now we're on to you. I read this too.
So let's go with WWE issue number 6. The Adventures of Dean Ambrose and Sasha Banks.
Oh, man.
This book, I love the whole thing of like it's not that they're boyfriend or girlfriend or anything. It's just like, you know, them just having a good time. You know, like
they were
Sasha
having
Banks,
a good time.
like had her things that she liked to do that Dean Ambrose like. I love when they were going dancing. He's like saying, "Dean, don't dance." That made me laugh.
And she's like, and she even says to him, "Gee, for a lunatic fringe, you're not really off the handle." I'm like, wow.
And then he went to the derby thing, the monster truck derby, and then she's like, "Oh, I don't like that," but then she actually was the driver, and then they were doing this whole thing. It was a crazy issue. And then you got good old Charlotte that was on Sasha Banks.
SM Down. Michael is up to date with wrestling. I am
Raw more than SmackDown.
I am actually on a break since WrestleMania. I do catch news here and there. I am a huge Hardy's fan. I am a huge fan of AJ Styles. Love Dean Ambrose as well, and Seth Rollins. I follow both Dean and Seth on Instagram and Twitter. But I'm not really... Wrestling isn't what it used to be, and a lot of it's recycled stuff. Like right now, the stuff that's going on with Goldust and R-Truth is exactly what happened with Goldust and Booker T, Goldust, and his other partner, fill in the blank.
Oh, Stardust.
Whatever. It's always the same thing. And John Cena and all these other superstars that'll take months off and come back and literally get a belt put on their lap.
John Cena tomorrow night on SmackDown.
So I personally don't watch it religiously. I know what's going on. I'm aware. Like I said, Hardy Boys fan, AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, stuff like that. But other than, I don't really watch wrestling. But the comic book is very good.
I decided to watch it after Raw. Oh, since Stephanie took over the storylines, and
well, she's gone now. Stephanie's gone, and Kurt Angle's running Raw, and it's been.
Oh, it's true.
It's definitely
damn true.
I will say this for a person who doesn't watch Raw, I definitely pop my head in every once in a while to watch what's happening now more, because it's not focused on Stephanie and Triple H anymore. Now it's focused on the entirety of the show, which is what needed to be done a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. But going into the book, I really enjoyed the story of that. And I was saying before that Charlotte and Dana Brooks was getting on Sasha Banks' nerve like really, really bad and everything. And it still gets into the wrestling events and all that, but I like that. But in the second story, we get something else of a person wrestling, and his name is John Cena.
I ignored that.
Hustle, loyalty, respect. After I was looking at this, I face palm saying, really? I mean, I used to be a big John Cena fan, but he uses the same moves and the same lines, and That's why when he comes back tomorrow for SmackDown, I'm not watching that. I'd rather watch Macy's 4th of July than see that. But I'm not really John Cena anymore. It's just, no. So I just looked. I'm like, yeah, John Cena. But a good book altogether for the Sasha Banks and Dean Ambrose fans out there. This is a #1 book, and I actually didn't know this was coming out.
I know. I saw it. I was like, whoa, Mike's going to be happy to see this back.
And that's Bill and Ted Save the Universe. Yes, the 2 rock and rollers are back, or time-traveling rock and rollers.
For the 3rd time now.
For the 3rd time. Yes, that's right. And let me tell you, this story, I love Bill and Ted's humor. Like, they go back in time, and they're getting chased by Dracula. And it was actually planned because they were having this surprise party for them passing their history exam some years ago and stuff like that. So, we get introduced to, to Ted's brother who comes to see him, and also Ted's father who comes that said that he wasn't as proud of him as he is of his other son. But then we get Bill's father who comes in and says that he's proud of what they did and changed history and whatnot. So things are like all, party on and everything.
S him down without saying your whole thing, because you're back where that goes backwards to WWE. 100% agree, though. Yeah. 100% agree with what you just said about Cena and Finn Balor. 100% agree.
Definitely. But I love the adventure, and now, from what I hear now, they have to go back in time, because, that's what they do to save other things from happening. Then we got introduced to some other characters, and I got a little bit mixed up here and there because it was about – I was actually trying to understand it, but it was getting a little bit heavy dialogue introducing new characters. But it is an issue 1, and I really enjoyed Bill and Ted's Adventures. So the next issue, I'll see what goes on there. Really great stuff. Now, this one I reviewed for Comic Frontline, so I'm going to give a briefie of Ghostbusters 101 issue #4 from IDW. And basically, it's the Ghostbusters and the Answer to Call Ghostbusters going to Ellis Island to try to figure out what paranormal things were going on there. Whereas the guy, Kevin, the owner of the Answer, like the Janine character, he is so dumb, like saying, I'm going to put sticky notes on things where I'm going to make sure it says the names and nobody will touch them. I'm like, really? Is he that clumsy in the Answer to Ghostbusters movie, that new one? Because I haven't seen it.
That's what I heard.
That's what I'm believing also. But going on for that, I like Jillian in the Answer to Call Ghostbusters because she uses like all these guns and everything, and she like does that. But you have to understand the law of physics, with all the ghosts, and we don't want any rip currents or anything. But really awesome book, definitely adventurous, and I really would recommend you guys check out that book. I can't wait for the next issue when that comes out. And a shocker that this actually came out from Zenescope, the one-shot of Robin Hood of the Tirat. Now, the only reason why I read...
Tarot cards.
Tarot? Oh, well, I never read tarot cards. Now, the only reason why I picked up this issue is because, #1, it's Robin Hood, and it deals with not just Robin Hood, but Mary from Days of the Dead. What?
Just keep going. I have a minor headache, and then just the thought of you.
Well, you're all paranormal and everything. But anyway, beside the point, because that's what cards do, they're psychic readings. So both Robin Hood and Mary are going up against the people who want to throw them in like a different dimension. And I like the artwork in the book, by the way. And they get to know each other a little bit, like she's trying to figure out how she became the whole skull thing and everything. And the queen, because that's what they did in Days of the Dead, they named her queen. And then about what I missed from Robin Hood, Lost in New York or something, it actually catches you up to date what she's been doing, because I've read Days of the Dead and I know what happened there. So when they're fighting, Robin Hood gets thrown in the mirror to this different dimension. We don't know where hers is going until the Robin Hood Loves to Hunt, or the Hunt to Love. I don't know what the hell that's called. But not only that, there's going to be another Days of the Dead thing of another volume coming out, Something of the Dead, which relates to what she's going to be doing with her pals. And then there was this whole different story of, I forgot what the guy's name was, that he found the tower that they thought they destroyed, but they didn't. and that is going to be interesting. So I'm going to maybe look into that, but I'm not too sure. But great to see Robin Hood back. I just wish Patrick Chan wrote it, because I love Patrick Chan's run on Robin Hood.
Yeah.
It was great. But I understand he has other things he's doing.
Amazing things like Destiny New York.
Yeah.
Clonsters just got successfully funded.
So, yeah, definitely.
If you guys are interested in Pat Chan, continuity, man, he is definitely building up his own company. Destiny New York is going to be getting a second volume.
It's wow.
We will definitely
already a second volume.
Oh yeah, next year.
Wow.
We will definitely be backing up Destiny New York #2. Absolutely, that is something we will definitely cover for sure. Destiny New York. If you haven't read it, just a little disclaimer for Destiny New York: read it. Really good, amazing book. I loved it. I'm looking forward to volume 2, 100%. So.
All right. So here's another issue #1 of Valiant's Secret Weapons issue #1. I wanted to take a look at this because, I mean, I haven't read a lot about Livewire. I mean, I've heard about her.
She was in a lot of the volume 1 of EXO, and she was also in the. Oh God, she was brought in with the core when she was in that Unity. Yeah, Unity is where she made her debut.
Yeah, but it does talk about her character a little bit more, but it introduced the 2 new characters.
I finally saw Suicide Squad. Pretty good. Awesome.
Yeah. So it talked about 2 characters, 1 girl character. I really wish I remember names. I read so much this week that I could barely remember any names. But she's like a whole thing about with birds and everything. And then there's this other guy who actually was working with her, and they like work together. Nikki is the girl's name. I can't remember what the guy's name is for the life of me. I think it was Paul. If they know, they could comment it. But beside the point, they go on their adventures and they find out what's going on. And Livewire, who actually you get more about her character, she actually saves them from this whole thing of what's going on. And I think that she should team up with the both of them, because I think seeing Secret Weapons, I mean, it was a little bit hard to understand at first because it was like a really, really long book and it's really dialogue heavy. But after you kind of see the scenes of what's going on, you get a little bit of an understanding of what's going on in the book. But I'll take a look at the other issue because Livewire's in it. I've always wanted to learn more about Livewire, and I think, what the hell? I mean, it's the best opportunity, right? So I would say check it out if you're interested. All right, now these physical books, some I reviewed for Comic Frontline, others I didn't, but I did review this one, Street Fighter vs. Darkstalkers, issue #3. Wow, the glossy cover. Issue #3. And what it talks about is, you know, I was disappointed a little bit about Evil Ken's character. Like, remember Evil Ryu when they did a long run of that?
Isn't it Violent Ken, not Evil Ken?
Violent Ken, Evil Ken. I don't know if they call him an Ultra. I remember seeing that when I went to Nintendo World this past week. But beside the point, before it goes to that, they give you like a prelude of Alex, who has that Lord Gil spirit thing, and that's saved for later. Meanwhile, you got Morgan, who calls another demon and yet again destroys the other demon, who didn't see that coming. But she sees a copy of herself, and she goes by the name of Lilith, who was by Judah Dumas, who brought her back to life to make her feel special in some sort of way. Artwork is great, by the way. So that's then. So then with Violent Ken, I guess I'll call him, it was very short run because after the whole thing of Lord Raptor being defeated by Chung-Li, we get what's his name? I think Victor. It says in the beginning of the book. Hold on. Yeah, Victor takes him out with one shot, and then that's it. So if that's it for Violent Ken, I was expecting a long run of this.
Wow.
Which was a little bit disappointing, so I don't know. And then we have Judah Dumas, who is going to be summoning some, probably a new character for more self-destructive stuff after feeding. Oh, put over there? Like feeding and stuff like that. You want to check it out more, check out my review. I think it might be up today. I'm not too sure because I'm making sure everything gets up by July 4th, at least.
TMNT issue #71. It's a good thing that this wasn't Frontline Live this week because this wouldn't have even made my top 5. Now, there's a reason for it, though. This book talks, the cover says it all. It's the Immortals. They get together only once every 100 years, and in this book we get to see the family meeting for the first time in 100 years, and they have a meeting about what's going on in the world. We get an introduction to who all they all are. I guess so we, for reference sake, know. Toad King references, of course, TMNT Universe, the 2-part story with Aliplex and an Angel, and they talk about the mutants a bit. We find out what Kitsune really saw in Shredder and what she really wanted with him, and that she wanted to use him as a vessel for their father. That's what her ultimate goal was, and it kind of throws everybody off because they're like, father is, not a thing to be messed with. And then, as they're talking about what their plans are, what they want to do, and just having this family meeting, we find out that at the very end of the story, after we get all this background and all this stuff on the characters and what's going on, the Turtles show up, or have been there and watching the entire time, to be continued. I have a feeling the next issue is going to be all about April finding out about this once every 100-year family meeting.
Oh, April.
And I'm guessing issue 72 will be that. And then we'll find out what brought them there and how they got there. The how part. Basically get the how part to, get to this point right here. I do like the woman who was assisting the Turtles against, oh God, what did her name? Kitsune. Against
I was
Kitsune.
going to say Kitsune, actually.
I like her because she says that the Turtles definitely play a fundamental role, possibly in the future, possibly being on par with the Immortals.
Right.
And I don't know. I feel like there's a lot that's going to happen in this book, and this is definitely a setup as we move forward.
Definitely. All right. Another book that I reviewed for Comic Frontline. Let me take it out of the cover first. Manowar, issue number 4. Feels like a really thick book when I first started.
I like it. I think it's a good.
No, I like
you get
it.
a bang for your buck with this series.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And so it's really just Arak who's looking for the how do you pronounce this word? Cadmium? Because I had a really tough
cadmium.
I tried so hard when I was in this review. I was like, cadmium? Because it was like a long day. But anyway, so it's just him looking for the cadmium. Yeah, cadmium president. And the only way to do that is to go to Helio Fields. Artwork is drawn beautifully. I love the artwork. I have to give credit to the artist who's in this book, Doug Brathwaite. Like, really awesome artwork he did in this comic book. And the only way to get to the Helio Fields was to get granted by the king of the Helio Fields. And that's what really the book is, just looking for the president. And he had to go through his army to find him. And they do find him. And with the gliders that came in, he tries to flee away. But Arak captures him and then brings him to the authorities. But he claims to be a decoy. So they may have still some work to do to find the real cadmium president, if that's it. Now, here's something you're going to like seeing, actually. Scorn actually comes in to see Arak and knew that he was alive because you know why? That needs to be explained of what this is and why did he not tell her that he had a child? What? Now, I don't know if the child was related to the suit or in the real physical child, but wow, because I was wondering, he's fight. Oh, and there's also a preview of Faith and the Future Force for those of you who are interested. It's going to be on sale July 26th.
Yeah, there's a back right there also.
Of that, yeah. And I was wondering, looking through this issue, when is he ever going to wear the suit again? Because I understand they want to show him as a new warrior. I'm loving the new direction, by the way. This was a really great book, nonetheless. And I really miss that he wears the suit because when I read Manowar Run, I got used to him wearing the suit. But who knows? Maybe next issue he'll wear it or something. I don't know. But I'm loving the direction they're going, so hopefully they stay that way.
Yes. Saga issue 44. I'm loving Saga. So they're on the abortion planet. They want to get the dead baby outside of Alana, and they're trying. She finds out that she still has this great power, but you know it comes at a cost for her life. We find out. We get a little bit more background on. Oh, what's her name? Oh, what's her name? Come on, Petrie. And yeah, they end up taking a train into the dangerous town in order to, you know, save Alana. We find out, like I said, more about Petrie, and then we find out that Alana is having bad dreams about losing the baby, connected back to when she used to be a junkie, and she blames, and we see that subconsciously Alana is blaming herself for losing the baby. She thinks that it's because of all the junk that was in her system when she was, you know, back in the day doing drugs. And the fact is, she still subconsciously, she still wants it. I think this will play a huge role in the future for her character. And then we also kind of get a little bit of a twist ending that I don't want to spoil, but it involves Hazel. So I would definitely say, if you're not reading Saga, man, there's 2 giant books now, and then I think you only have a couple of books to catch up to where we're currently at. I would definitely recommend jump in. Saga has been a fun read for me. I did not expect to like it all those years ago when I got issue number 1, but damn. You know, here's a funny story. Issue number 1 came out while Cindy was still living in California before she moved here.
And was it around episode close to 300?
Yes, it was close to episode 300.
It was.
Cindy was living here when we hit 300.
I remember that.
Yeah. So we are 100. This series, other than I think 2 story arcs that I chose not to buy. I think I fell out of it for a time. Other than those, or no, did I read it still? I read it still digitally. I'm sorry.
You did.
I moved it to digital, and then I picked it back up physically. Saga's been a part of this review for the past 100+ episodes.
That says a lot.
That's sick. That's awesome sick, but that's still sick. All right.
Now we're going to the big 2. Sorry.
Batman Beyond issue number 9. Damian, who is now the new Al Ghul, leading the League of Assassins, versus Terry, and Bruce is heading to save Terry from not only Damian but the suit. We get a lot of really awesome background on Damian. Like, Damian came back after Bruce kind of decided to quit. We've got the Crafting Army. What's up, man?
Oh, or how you doing,
lady? I'm not sure. That's a very openly named, but what's up?
An army.
Great to have you. Great to have you on here. Hope you enjoy the review, and thank you for commenting. So I like this issue. I like the fight between Damian and Terry. I like the background story with Damian, that, you know, Damian did take over as Batman for a time, and then he disappeared, and he left. And there's something that Damian knows about Bruce and about that suit that Terry doesn't know, and then Bruce makes it there just in time to try to save Terry. Guy. Thank you. I'm sorry, but welcome to the show anyway. And I just liked it. I liked the flashbacks. I thought they were really cool. And I like that Damian kind of warns Terry that the Batcave has a lot of secrets to it, and it definitely sucks you in. I liked it. I really, truly enjoyed Batman Beyond. And it's, you know, it was off to a bit of a rough start, and I'm really glad I stuck with it because I'm really enjoying it now. Cable issue number 2, however. Now, as I told you guys, I decided to give Cable another try because it was Generation X that truly deserved to be dropped. But I decided to keep it. No problem. Sorry for... No, you're not interrupting at all. This is Crafting Army. This was made a live show for a reason. We love to talk with people. If you have anything you'd like to mention about any of the books we talk about, feel free to chime in, and that's the whole point of it being live. Mm-hmm. If you come post live, you can leave video. You can leave comment at the end of the video talking about the entirety. But you're here with us one-on-one right now as we're doing this, so definitely, man, if you have something to say, say it. So Cable issue 2 is a lot like issue number 1. Cable shows up. He's in the samurai era. We get a little backstory on who he's chasing, and he beats the samurais. One samurai takes him to where the guy was last seen, and then he goes into a different time. To be continued. I'm going to try issue number 3. If issue number 3 is exactly like issue number 2, which is exactly like issue number 1, I'm done. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to keep watching a guy fly through time chasing after this dude.
Isn't that what Cable is? All about time and then telling.
But he's chasing after this dude that's giving these other people future tech, which Cable is beating them and then moving on to the next era. If I wanted that, I'd read Back to the Future.
Oh, yeah. Well, Back to the Future is more preferable than that. All right.
Totally Awesome Hulk continues the... this is issue what?
20.
20. Continues the story that it is crossing over with Weapon X with. And we get more background on the character who's joining Reverend. Oh my God, why did his name leave me? It was with me and then it was gone.
They said that's part 2 of Weapons of Mutant Destruction?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Reverend Stryker. And they're trying to create the ultimate fuse of the Weapon X mutants and the Hulk to defeat the mutants and obviously the Hulk, because the Hulk is teaming with them. And when did that come out, by the way? All these books that we are talking about right now came out the last Wednesday of June, which was
June 28, 2017.
June 28. So they are currently all out. It was an okay issue. I feel like it's more, it's a lot of talking. Wolverine and the others they're all in their different parts, like what the one shot left us off with. They're all looking for information. They find information out about the dude. Armadeus tries to talk to him, and he gets attacked by a robot. We get to see another one of the robots, and we find out that they're killing other mutants all across the world. And it's okay. I mean, is it something to write home to mom about? Not really. Not yet. It's okay. I feel like at this point it's trying to build Hulk, Totally Awesome Hulk back up. My opinion. I could be wrong.
All right. And one book out digitally is Deadpool versus the Punisher, issue number 5. The last...
I'm kind of new to comic books. Something new. Hey, dude, awesome. Try something new. We'll definitely let you know what's awesome to check out.
Yeah, so Deadpool versus the Punisher issue 5 is the last issue of this
comic book. Right,
because
your trade should be coming, I think, this month.
Right, and I'll try to maybe do a trading corner. What's it called again?
Comic book corner?
No, with trades.
Yeah, comic book corner.
Oh, it is comic book corner? Oh, I thought it was something else.
No.
All right, well, anyway, I'll be doing a trade review whenever I can on Comic Frontline. But beside the point, so this is where Deadpool was working with somebody who's with Hudson, and also that was with Taskmaster, and they're all going against like the Punisher, and they're trying to convince Deadpool, no, kill the Punisher because he's the one that hurt Hudson's mother and everything. And then Punisher's like, no, kill him. He's using you for this and that. And then Deadpool's like, oh, crossroads and everything. So Punisher has to worry because he doesn't have healing factor like Deadpool does, and he does mention that. And there's like a whole thing that's going on where Deadpool finds out that the guy is actually not to be trusted because he wanted to take Hudson for himself and then kill both the Punisher and Deadpool because they were like completely useless and everything. So when Deadpool finds out, he actually like destroys the guy and actually takes Hudson because he's his child and everything. And then it's just the Punisher just left there all wounded and everything. And like they said, like Deadpool saying, what would you prefer, a healing factor or not? Well, look at this guy. I think you know the answer. And I like how he said the winner of that round was the people who read the book. So I win because I read all the 5 issues. But really great book. I would definitely recommend you guys pick it up on trade paperback for those of you Punisher and or Deadpool fans because it was a pretty interesting book. I would have to say definitely something you guys should check out for that part. So yeah.
Okay. So you want to go to physical?
Oh yeah, and actually your book is first. So here you go.
All right, so just like with the Spider-Verse, I guess we're getting Edge of the Venomverse, issue number 1, and it is all about X-23. If she was to get the Venom symbiote, we get her background story, how she came into contact with the symbiote when she was a kid during the X program that she was in, and she ends up taking these orphan kids in to to protect them. And then, of course, just like in Spider-Verse, she ends up getting called away to what? There's going to be a war. So if you want the background on the characters, see, this is why I got Edge of the Venomverse, because I felt like they were going to add new characters. And this book definitely did. We got X-23 if she was to become Venom. And this is why I got Edge of the Venomverse, because each issue is going to be a new story with a new character. Now, if you guys remember, Edge of the Spider-Verse gave us Spider-Gwen.
Right.
And Spider-Gwen is now a staple character in the Spider books. That book goes for a lot of money, I believe now, the Edge of the Spider-Verse one that introduced Spider-Gwen. These books are going to be exactly the same. We're going to get introductions to Venomverse characters. Will they be as strong as the Spider-Verse characters? I don't think so. I think everybody's going to buy up every single Edge of the Spider-Verse book, Venomverse book, thinking, oh my God, this is going to be a new Venom. I am going into it saying, I just want the background on the characters. I truly and honestly heard a lot about Spider-Man comics from like the 90s, the 1900s. Oh, I'm thinking you mean the 1990s, I think, but the old one with black border and yeah. I like all the Spider-Man comics. The only time I didn't really particularly enjoy Spider-Man was during
Big Time?
No, Brand New Day.
Oh.
Right after One More Day. I waited till Big Time to go back into it. So, yeah, Spider-Man in the 90s was awesome, man. The new stuff is pretty good also. Now, I say that, and then we get to Amazing Spider-Man 29, which now Spider-Man is officially in Secret Empire. And
is that, I'm sorry to interrupt you, is that by Alex Ross, the cover?
Yes, it is.
I figured. I could always tell by
So Secret Empire is beginning in the background of this comic, and then Pete ends up going to Parker Industries as Spider-Man because he feels like something's up. Okay, I knew what I had a feeling I knew what you meant. The 90s was awesome. And you get the Hell Hydra and everything. So Parker Industries was taken over by Hydra, more specifically Doc Ock, who wants his company back. And either Spidey gives him the company, or he's going to destroy it. And we find out that it was Doc Ock that left the Black Mist over Manhattan. And also we get Spidey gets the call from Tony about what's going on, and to get to to get to Washington, D.C. as soon as possible. And we see, I am positive if Tevye was here, he'd be cheering like crazy. But we see the destruction of Parker Industries in Japan. So I have a feeling Parker Industries is going bye-bye, and I have a feeling that Amazing and Spectacular Spider-Man are both going to take place in Manhattan.
Wait a minute. I thought there was only one Parker Industries in Manhattan.
No.
There were two of them?
There were two of them. He's going like, he even compared himself to Tony Stark. Oh. No, Parker Industries is global. I like what I heard from Superior Spider-Man. And Superior Spider-Man was good. When we all thought it was permanent, we hated it. But now that we know it's not permanent, obviously less people are hating on it.
I like just Peter Parker being Peter Parker, not being taken over by somebody. But it was a good run, I guess.
Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider. And I looked at this cover and I said, I'm going to make myself a bet. And I swore I wasn't going to look at the last page until I got to it. But I swore when I saw this cover, I said, that's going to be on the last page. This is the last panel. I'll make you a bet on the last page. Let's see. So we got Kane, who now knows where Ben is and actually goes right where Ben is. And actually, they mistake him for Ben, the old woman that he helped. Slag, the woman, I forget her name, Misty.
Oh, what's up, MT?
MT in the house? Really? Tevye is not going to shut up about this. I know he isn't, but it's fine. Whatever. Let him talk. Not going to change my opinion on whether I like or don't like Spider-Man, right? I wish they do a movie with Doc Ock as Spider-Man. I had every comic from the 90s and to 2000, which huge stack. I have them all still. I was wondering if that's worth anything. I look them up, man. You never know. You never know. One or two of those issues could be worth a fortune, and you just gotta look them up. I don't buy comics for value. I buy them because I love to read them. eBay. Look them up on eBay. See how much Spider-Man 90s comics are worth. Why are you guys up so late? Because we are. MT, I don't go to bed till 6 in the morning. I'm Batman. Where have you been? So Kane is seeing all this wonderful, wonderful stuff that Ben's doing, and he's trying to hack in because he thinks that he's playing everybody, and then Ben shows up at the end of the book, of course, and tries to convince Kane he's changed his ways, that he wants to help this woman. And, you know, he only tried to do what was best for everybody, and then he's like, but you're still going to fight me. You're still going to try to kill me, right? And he's like, yep. And the fight begins. And guess what? Last page, last panel.
Wow.
Just like irony. I guessed. One thing I did like, though, was Ben's like, I'm not the Jackal anymore. I'm the Scarlet Spider. And I love how Kane's like, no, Ben, I'm the Scarlet Spider. And he's like, okay, we're going to do this. Let's do this.
Now watch One Punch to be continued in the next issue.
I would be pissed. But I knew when I saw this cover, I said, watch.
Wow.
Watch. The whole book, main star of the book was Kane, you know, discovering what Ben's been up to and all the good that he's done, and thinking that it's all just a ploy. And then, you know, the imminent collide and beginning of the fight as the book ends, of course, as the book ends, because that's how they make you come back for issue number 5. I mean, even though I pre-ordered it from DCBS 2 months in advance, that's how they make you come back as people who go to the comic shop every week. I wish I had a comic shop to go to every week. Do you know how easy it would be for me to just go to a store?
Or how easy it was?
Oh, I miss it. It was only 3 blocks down.
5-minute walk, too.
By now, because I'm so into comics, I would have had my own box there. When I was a kid, I was only into Superman. Now, with all the books I read, I would have had my own freaking box. But on the alternative side, we would not get our 25% off on our books.
That is true.
30% off on our books. So give and take. Give and take.
It's a win-win.
Did your comic store close down? Unfortunately, yes. Yes, it did.
Oh, MT say you just start reading Spawn. I like it a lot so far.
Oh, MT, you're going to love Spawn, especially if you're starting all the way at the beginning. There's one near me. I used to live next to one. Lucky, we lost the one that's near us. I mean, we could ride the train for a half hour and go to Midtown Comics, but same amount of money to ship the books to us as it would for a train ride at this point.
All right, so this book I reviewed for Comic Frontline.
Mary Jane variant.
The Mary Jane variant. I actually like this variant, actually, of The Punisher issue number 13.
This pays homage to the Punisher SpiderMan comic.
Yeah, I have to admit, Mary Jane looks pretty good as the Punisher. And I gotta just say this. It's a new story, but I thought it was kind of a little bit weird. This story was really like when Frank Castle goes back to his lair, he finds out that his handgun is missing, and he looks at the surveillance camera and he finds out who took it. And throughout the whole issue, it's just him going from person to person to person. He goes to the little boy, Lucas, asking if he had the gun, and he sold it to Benny's pawn shop because he needed money to buy a stitch device thingamajigger. So he goes to Benny's, and then he said that he already sold it to somebody else with the address. And just to show you guys some artwork, artwork's pretty good.
So basically, this whole story is him chasing after a gun.
Exactly. Like I was reading a Law and Order book instead of just the Punisher. And he wants to talk to this guy, Casey. He goes through some thugs, and then he finds out where Casey lives, and he gets an argument with his wife that he got in the middle of that. And then the gun that he used or tried to use on Punisher backfired on him and took off his whole arm. That's going to leave a permanent mark. And he said that it was rigged to backfire if he's not the one shooting it. So that was pretty smart of the Punisher to do that. And then basically that's the end of the book. I was like, did I just read the Punisher or did I just read Law and Order? What? I hope the next story, I mean, I understand they wanted to take a little bit of a break from the long story because they did a good run on the whole story thing with the Punisher. But if this is the way they're going to go, which I hope not because I love reading Punisher books, I hope not. Maybe the next one will be a story or something. So there's that. Next book I'm going to be talking about is Jean Grey, issue number 3. And it has our good friend Namor on the cover. And to be honest, I thought I would like that more.
I have to take a train to get to the comic shop I go to, though it's only a 10-minute ride. Happy 4th of July, MT. We said that at the beginning, but happy 4th.
Mary Jane was not in the story. That's just a variant cover.
It's just a variant. This month for Marvel was the MJ variants. June was the Mary Jane variants. This month, they do like a theme now every month. It's the same. It's cover price. Unless your comic shop wants to jack up the price. But if you buy from DCBS or Midtown, it's cover price. This month, July, is the X-Men trading card variants. And I made sure to get every single one because if you guys were with us 2 months ago on Dark Avenger Live, I had traded for those cards and I got them. And it's kind of ironic that they actually mentioned that those are going to be the variants. So we made sure to get the variants.
Yep. So in Jean Grey, now I said Namor was in this book. You know, to think that Namor was an okay character, he was acting like a real jerk.
That is Namor.
In his issue. No, like really, really jerky. Like
that's him.
She goes to Namor. There's artwork, by the way, to ask him about the Phoenix, and he's like saying, "Oh, the end result is roughly the same, but you get a satisfaction of going out on your own terms and stuff like that." So he doesn't really help her out as much as he should, really. And and by the way, I know you like sharks. They had some sharks in there.
Nice.
He's a shark fan, so I thought he would like that. But beside the point, they go and fight off against this dragon.
If there's variant cover, the person on it should at least be in the story. I'm crazy, but that's just. I agree, but you know they did Venom. They did Venomized covers. Venomized covers are coming back in September. This is Mary Jane month. Well, June was Mary Jane month. Now we're in X-Men card variants.
Yeah, and as Namor tried to use the Trident against the the sea monster thing or whatever, Jean Grey actually tested her own strength, which was really, really strong. And you know, the Phoenix thing, she's just going crazy because she's trying not to turn into the Phoenix because she doesn't want to go that route. And with all that just said, she just defeats the monster with the Trident. Getting a little bit violent there is not a good sign, you know, because she could be getting there almost. Because, you know, she gets a little violent and then she turns into a Phoenix. Really good book. I mean, Dennis Hopeless, I really like what he's doing with Jean Grey as what he did for Spider-Woman. Really great book. You guys should really check that out. Back to you.
I was wondering if you guys do manga reviews. Do you don't know if you know what that? We know what manga are. I read manga. I actually am on a break from it. I read One Punch Man. I read Fairy Tail. I read Assassination Classroom, even though the anime ended, and I know how it's going to end already. I read One Piece. I've read the beginning of Naruto. I would love to grab the beginning of Boruto. Haven't done that yet. I've read Food Wars. I've read, and this is just to name a few. I've read
Attack on Titan,
ReZero. I've read Attack on Titan. That's just to name a few. I got Pokemon. The first whole
I used to read
volume.
I used to read mangas, but the right to left thing is kind of a little...
And what happened was because we're getting a lot of American comics right now. Our manga collecting kind of was put on the shelf for now. We were buying, especially One Punch Man and My Hero Academia were two books that I never wanted to drop. But money, and you don't know because you're new, obviously, but what we do is we do games a lot now. So we had to kind of sacrifice, you know, to make money elsewhere.
No Game, No Life?
No, I didn't read that. Have you watched I've watched DBZ. I've watched the entirety of Inuyasha. I've not watched Iki Tucson. X-Men Blue issue number 6. So Jean, Beast, and Jimmy go out on the town basically and just party. But then what happens is Jimmy witnesses a drug transaction at first where they actually get attacked by these mutant ninjas. Oh, the cover is messed up. I didn't even know that.
Oh, wow.
The cover is messed up. Oh, well.
I didn't know that either.
These are from my collection anyway. It's not like I'm grading them. And Jimmy gets involved. Jean gets involved. Beast gets involved. And then when Jimmy pops his claws, the gang is like, we knew a guy named Patch. who happened to be Wolverine. And then they're like, oh, that's Jimmy's father. And they're like, you know, we know what's going on in the world. And she's like, could you teach us to be like ninjas? I got to say, one thing I didn't like about this book was I did not like the artwork.
Now, hold on. Which Wolverine is it? Is it Old Man Logan?
No, Ultimate Wolverine.
Okay, so this is the Ultimate.
Ultimate Jimmy Hudson. Ultimate Wolverine's son.
Okay, now I get it.
I did not dig the artwork in this book. I did not dig the story. And it's not even over yet. This is going to be a very weak, I feel, X-Men Blue story. Very weak. And I'm getting a bad vibe. And as you guys know, as much as I'd love to stick with books nowadays, we've got Legacy coming. And regardless how many channels on YouTube are trashing Marvel right now, you don't know if Legacy's good until it happens. If it's bad, I'll be the first one to say it's bad. But if it's good, I want to be able to buy the physical copies of books that I really like. And if X-Men Blue is going to go downhill, but it is going to be crossing over with... with Secret Empire soon anyway. So wait till after the Secret War crossover before I make any rash decisions.
Right.
The Defenders.
What do you guys think about Jim Lee's X-Men?
I like that run. I like that run a lot. I would definitely get the omnibus of that at some point if I ever get the money for it. But The Defenders, issue number 2. Luke Cage was left for dead. However, Black Cat ended up leaving him with Nightmare Nurse. Night Nurse. And Night Nurse nurses him back to health. And Blade makes a guest appearance with the cure, because apparently the only way to kill Luke Cage is from the inside out. So he has this virus, and then Blade brings him the antidote. He's like, tell your husband he owes me one. Hold it.
The Luke that you're talking about, like Luke Cage.
Yes.
He's turning into a vampire?
No.
Then why is Blade?
This was Blade.
Yeah,
he brought Luke the cure. He didn't make him a vampire.
No, I didn't say if he made him vampire. Did somebody, I said.
No.
Okay.
He just owes Blade a favor.
Okay, then.
We have Iron Fist, who goes to Kingpin for information on Diamondback, which gets him information on Diamondback. Daredevil gets information on Diamondback. So does Jessica Jones. And at the same time, they all attack him. Unfortunately, somehow, apparently Diamondback now has powers, and they can't defeat him, and he gets away. However,
what?
It looks like somebody's helping Diamondback, possibly.
Are you serious? The Punisher? You gotta be kidding me.
Do they have the cover for the next issue?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Told you should have been reading this.
I'll look into it, just to see what happens. But man,
I love that they use Jim Lee's costume designs for in the 90s. I agree, definitely.
They're making Punisher very noticeable in Secret Empire. Now something's telling me Punisher's trying to become a major icon in the Marvel universe.
Speaking about Secret Empire, now that they've announced that there are 10 issues, this is not the almost done. There's going to be 10 issues. And then there's an Omega issue in September, which is the grand finale, the aftermath. Well, it's one shot. Why not?
What?
I got the Alpha.
Why?
I got issue 0.
But why?
Finish it off. I'm not getting any of the miniseries.
And they said they weren't doing this. They're doing it, Marvel.
But anyway, Secret Empire issue number 5. This is the midway point. So the Avengers. Well, we got Black Widow, who actually goes to Madam Hydra and makes her a very interesting offer. If something was to happen, if Steve Rogers was killed, there would have to be somebody to lead the Hydra Empire, and maybe it could be, why not Miss Hydra? Why not Madam Hydra herself? So she's going to be working with Black Widow now to kill Steve Rogers. Possibly, we get a little bit more of Steve in this other world. They go to Wakanda to get the piece, the shard, and that doesn't work out. They go to other places, no shard. What's his name? They try to save Shang-Chi, who had a piece. That was taken, but we find out who took it. It was the mutants. And Steve Rogers finds this out as well and threatens threatens Beast that if he doesn't get the shard, he might pick up Thor's hammer because he was found worthy at one time. And if he picks up Thor's hammer, he's a dangerous god. And we find out that everybody on Cap's team is being either possessed, put a virus in him, but Odin's son, Thor, is the one uncertainty. And Thor is actually doing it because he wants Jane to be cured, and Cap promised him that. And now he's starting to question whether he's in the right place, if he's doing the right thing or not. He's like, if I'm not worthy and Cap is worthy, then I must be doing the right thing, right? And then, of course, you have, what do you call it? You have the traitor. We find out who the traitor is in the Avengers. If you guys are ready for this, there's 2 big spoilers coming up. So if you don't want to hear it, pull your headset out and come back when I put this book down. I'll hold it up so you know I'm talking about it. 2 spoilers. Number 1, we find out that Bobby is the traitor. And then the last page, it looks like Steve Rogers has found a way to temporarily bring Bruce Banner, a.k.a. the Hulk, who just died in the last event, back to life. To be continued.
Wow.
So it's definitely building up. So that's a secret weapon. Number 1, Bobby was the traitor, and number 2, he has a Hulk now. Okay. I don't know. Secret Empire is definitely starting to build up steam.
MTXU question.
If I jump straight to Secret Empire, will I get confused? If you started issue 5, yes. If you started issue 0, no. There's actually, MT, even further back, if you want to get a trade, paperback, they made an actual trade paperback with the snippets of how it all began, like from a year ago. They took scenes from every single book where they showed Captain America, Steve Rogers, what he was doing behind the scenes. And it's a nice size trade. And it catches you up completely to how Steve Rogers set everything up to happen during Secret Empire. So a trade and start from issue 0 and you're good. Have you guys read Haunt? I have. Loved it.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that comic? It disappeared. Once Todd McFarlane and Greg Capello left the book, there was one more volume after that with a different artist. Book disappeared after that because it just was not as good as the first volume. I loved the first volume of Haunt. Now it just fell into the pond of many other books that have disappeared.
All right, and we're still continuing to cross all of DC and
this is the end.
Yes, I've been waiting for this actually. Jonah Hex from All Star Western and Yosemite Sam. This I thought was going to be interesting, and you know what? It delivered that. Starts off where Yosemite Sam is at the gold mine looking for gold for himself, and killed his men because they wanted the gold for themselves and to kill Yosemite Sam and take all that's left. Then he finds this woman, and Foghorn Leghorn actually makes an appearance in this book, who was actually drowning. And they say, because when he says, I said, you knew it was Foghorn Leghorn. He even said that. And I like the artwork. So he's like saying, I'll pay you back, for a favor and everything. Meanwhile, Jonah Hex comes in with his stuff of what he does and everything. So Yosemite Sam and Jonah Hex are like really one and the same when it comes to like the shootings and whatnot, especially when it comes to the Western
Is
times.
there a Flash? No, there's no Flash Roadrunner. It was Lobo Roadrunner.
So since they both
should have been though.
So since they both like whiskey, and since Jonah Hex was interested in being Yosemite Sam's friend because of the gold mine, he decided to take him there, but somebody else is actually wanting to find the gold mine, and he actually runs a circus where Foghorn Leghorn is as a boxer. So this one guy who stepped up, he lost and got beaten up badly by the ring bearer who owns the whole thing. And then we get just a long talk between Jonah Hex and Yosemite Sam. The guy who's looking for him for the gold mine finds him, and then Jonah Hex is believed to be killed or anything, but luckily he wasn't. And Yosemite Sam just like saying, "Get back, you vermins," and all that other stuff.
Varmints.
Or varmints and all that. And it seems that Jonah Hex, well, everything went fine after that because they won. But, yeah. really something else. Now, the second story, I was a little bit disappointed with the artwork, kind of. It doesn't look Looney Toony like the other books did, but I don't know. I mean,
Looney Tunes do make comics. There is Looney Tunes. Cindy reads them. It comes out once a month, and it's actually based off of the 80s and 70s cartoon.
Yeah. And then this one, Jonah Hex is looking for a bear that's been attacking them, and Bugs Bunny actually makes an appearance in this. And I like that because that Yosemite Sam Bugs Bunny moments, there's always that. And they take down the bear, and that's it. So Bugs Bunny runs away as Yosemite chases him, and, well, that's all, folks, for that. Really great. I really loved the whole DC crossover Looney Tunes, and hopefully maybe they'll do more of these, because, or maybe with Marvel, you never know. That would be really something. And you have Looney Tunes of your own.
Batman Elmer Fudd's one shot. I enjoyed this book. It was really good. It shouldn't have been good. It shouldn't have been possible either, but it was. Elmer Fudd ends up killing someone, which brings Batman in on the case. You got Bugs Bunny, who looks like he's a gangster, and we find out that...
Really? A gangster? Are you serious?
We find out that they're all under some type of manipulation from this woman. That's Bugs Bunny.
A guy?
Yeah, they make him a guy, because he's like, Bugs... See?
Oh my
What's
God.
Up, Doc? He's like, what's up, Doc?
What? That doesn't make any sense.
It was a whole weird thing, and then the backup story was more of a rabbit season kind of deal.
Well, that's the second story.
Yeah, and then you get Batman. I did not like the artwork in this part with Batman, at least for Batman.
Oh, I like it. It looks pretty good. I mean, he just has a big chin, that's all.
It was pretty nice. And
Robyn season? What the hell?
And then you got all
and you got all the Nice.
Robyn season. Oh, and also Elmer Fudd does talk with the W's. If you look at how he talks.
The Robyn season, like Bruce Wayne.
It was a nice final story. It was a nice way to end the crossover with the Looney Tunes. Nice one-shots, worth $5. Depends on if you like the Looney Tunes or the DC characters.
I think they did a great run on them. And we have another team-up book.
This one, Batman and the Shadow, issue number 3. Joker joins the Stag. Batman goes on the hunt, but he has the Shadow locked away. And what's his name? Alfred is actually watching over him. And I love the story that the Shadow gives, and as he's giving it, Batman finds Joker and the Stag, and he fights them, and we find out that Batman really was the true target all along, because Batman, the Shadow had many, we find out that the Shadow has trained many people in Gotham, from Catwoman to other people in Gotham, but Batman was special because he was training Batman, because Batman is destined, as they say in this book, to become the next Shadow. To be continued. I personally don't like that thought that, Batman was trained by the Shadow to become the Shadow. That threw me off a little bit. I really, truly didn't like that idea too much. But the story and the action and, the Shadow breaks free at the end, so now he's got to help Batman, who is in dire need of help with the Joker and the Stag. We'll see where it goes.
Okay, now we're in Rebirths.
The last physical Wonder Woman book I will be getting. And it is an issue 25. It is an extra size anniversary issue. And it deals with everything. And it wraps everything up with a beautiful, beautiful bow. So Wonder Woman doesn't have the Golden Perfect. She doesn't have the Golden Lasso. And she's upset about it. She's upset about the gods and what they did to her. And Superman and Batman notice this while they're doing a JLA mission. And they call Wonder Woman on the side. She goes to Victoria Kale also to try to, or Veronica Kale, to cure Cheetah. She says no, and she doesn't want my help anyway. And that's that. So then Batman and Superman confront Wonder Woman about why she's so upset, what's going on, where her lasso is, and she explains that she lost the lasso. It binds it's binding to other gods. you have this backstory where Steve Trevor and her have this date that they're planning. So Superman and Batman make the best suggestion. Go to the gods and talk to them. If you're upset, reach out to them. Have you talked to them yet? And she's like, no. So she goes to them. She talks to them. They explain everything to her, why and how. And guess what? Wonder Woman gets her lasso back. She gets her lasso back. And then the ending is just a wonderful moment between her and a now clean-shaven Steve Trevor. The end, I feel like Greg Rucka put perfect end. So if you wanted to stop reading Wonder Woman right here, you could. It has a beautiful... All right, have a good night, MT. Sorry we're doing this a bit late. I know you probably have to head off to bed, but this was a really nice ending to the Rutka run. I enjoyed all 25 issues. I feel bad that there was a difference between him and... oh, God, who was doing the covers for a time? I forget who was doing the covers for a time. I had the name and then I lost it. There was a difference between him and the person who was doing Terry Dodson doing the covers for Wonder Woman, and it pushed Terry Dodson off the book. Or if it's not Terry Dodson, it was somebody else. But anyway, it pushed that person off the book doing the covers. I feel bad for that, but I feel like Greg Rucka put a nice bow on top of Wonder Woman. And for me, I like the Meredith Finch run. I like the Greg Rucka run. I'm good. Will I still read Wonder Woman? Absolutely. Digitally and at my own leisure, kind of. Because I'm reading so many books, guys. And I talked about this last week, and I'll talk about it this week, and I'll probably make mention of it in the future. There are too many books out there that I really enjoy, and very little time to read them all in order to do this review every single week. And as you guys will see from the update and from what we're going to be doing, I kind of addressed this finally after, so long.
Okay. Teen Titans, issue number 9. This is the part 1 of Blood of the Manta. Of that. And the cover just says it all. Like, like the Teen Titans, they're, going up against Ra's al Ghul, where Aqualad's there. And we have a little bit of, it's really focused more on Aqualad, with all that and just trying to fit in with the Teen Titans. Meanwhile, you have Wally West, right? Wally West, who has
New 52 Wally West.
Yeah, New 52 Wally West, who talks to Raven with some great artwork, by the way. And they just have like a thing about about how Damian is and how he can be, and he's just like talking about Deathstroke, about wanting to join his team because he feels that if Robyn doesn't want him to be on the team, then he shouldn't even bother staying with the Teen Titans. So he's probably going to join with them, and looks that way, actually. The Defiance in Deathstroke. And Raven says it's your decision, you do what you want. And then Aqualad's mother actually comes in and says that if you decided what you want to do and want to talk about his father, and the reveal was that the mother was the one with the powers of water. After all the years he made fun of him and everything, she actually came out in the open to say that she's the one with the water powers. And then you just have Teen Titans who are trying to, like I said, just save the day and everything. And we have the mother who comes in. And guess who she encounters with? Black Manta.
I think he's going to be Aqualad's son. Father.
I hope not. And that is to be continued. So that would be really twisted if Black Manta is the father of Aqualad. That would be something. Pretty good.
Detective Comics 959. Batman and Zatanna team up against this new Azrael, or this new being. And we get a little bit of a flashback to Bruce and Zatanna before he became Batman. But Batman's group shows up. They fight this being who actually does attack Azrael for a bit and kind of throws him off of his game. But it escapes because it needs time to seek out the truth. Azrael is not the same after this experience. We see a little bit more about what Luke is doing in his spare time in his workplace in Fox Industries. We get a little bit more on Batman and explaining to Zatanna why he needs her help learning magic. What he came to her father for so many years ago, and he explains he doesn't want to lose anybody else like Damien, because he lost in his mind he lost Tim. Which person is Robyn in this? In that, in Teen Titans, it's Damien. So then we get to see the ramifications of what's going on with Azrael, and it looks like Azrael is really getting, after this experience, he's kind of really shaken, and I think that it's going to really affect him in a very fundamental way come next issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just had to fix my necklace. All right. This I reviewed for Comic Frontline, and this is the last one I'll show that I did for Comic Frontline. The Hellblazer issue number 11. This is the Smokeless Fire part 2. And the next one's to be concluded, so I don't know if I'm really going to stay on this because the story's been a little bit average, iffy, kind of. So I'm going to check the new story arc after Smokeless Fire concludes. And if I don't like the new story arc, I might as well probably drop it. I don't know. I'm just saying for that. But it was really not focused on John Constantine. It was mostly focused on these characters named Dante and his little sister Sam. And Dante has Henry's journal where they encounter with the genies and stuff like that.
The Djinn?
Well, they call Jinn. The D is silent. That's what I heard.
The Jinn, right?
Yeah. And then Dante gets Leon who comes to his door saying, "You have what I want. Give it to me, and I'll give you enough money for that." So Sam, knowing that there's something up, there was something up because the guy, I can't remember his name for the life of me, is the one that's looking for the journal. Meanwhile, the shoe goes viral with everyone taking pictures on their cell phone and everything, and John Constantine doesn't mind that at all, I guess. He just sits back like saying, "So it's going viral, big deal." So they manage to escape, both Dante and Sam, and they wind up going to Cherry's house where she actually has probably information about the thing that involves the shoe. And it looks like someone's coming to see John Constantine. And who is it? Well, we won't find that out until the next issue of that. So, like I said, average read. I really am going to see how the next story arc goes. But if it does not hold me, then I'm getting rid of it. If that.
Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, issue 23. It's considered fractured, but I would call this issue revealed because there are 2 reveals that are found out in this book by Hal Jordan and Saranic. So they don't believe this, the person in the end of the last issue, he said that one of the Green Lanterns killed. He had a crime. And Hal is worried about Tomar 2 still. John Stewart sends Guy Gardner and Arkillo to the one place where he thinks this information is, because he's like, if it is true, I need to stifle it because the Green Lantern Corps just got back in the graces of the universes. There's a confrontation between Kyle and Saranic again, and this time Saranic's like, she sees Hal, and he's like, "Did you see Tomar 2 yet?" And she's like, "No, he never came to me." And he's like, ever since that whole what was it mission? The Sarko mission, things have been different. And she's like, "Sarko." And so what happens is you got Arkillo and Guy looking for that information. You've got Hal Jordan looking for Tomar 2 to see what's up with him. And then now you have Saranic who's questioning, why is Sarko, what's so special about him? She does an autopsy. So here we go, the big reveals, which nobody should be surprised about this one. Saranic finds out that Sarko is her and Kyle's future child. However, finding this out changes the future because Sarko disappears. He fades away. So either he fades away because the child will not happen and the relationship will not happen, or because they now know about Sarko and what happens, it will prevent the future from happening. And then the big reveal about who killed a Yellow Lantern. It was Tomar 2. We saw it at the beginning. And we find out that Tomar 2 is so tired and sick because he's holding Tomaru's Sinestro Corps ring, because if the ring goes out, that means they would know that Tomar 2 killed Tomaru. And So revealed. Saranic now knows the secret, and Hal Jordan / John Stewart now know.
That's something.
About Tomar 2.
Justice League of America, issue number 9, The Man from Monster Valley. And that man from Monster Valley's name is
John Cena?
Maxon. And no, we're not talking about that at all. So this book was, I mean, it was a little bit of a heavy dialogue, but I know that it was relating to Maxon, or Maxon, however you say that. And he's just like saying, you know, how he was a person at one time, but he feels that everybody killed his true mother and family. So he goes out on revenge on all the people's heads because of that. So he's just going out for revenge of what they did to his mother, where the Justice League come in and try to stop him. Amazing artwork. I have to admit that. Really amazing. And they try to like have a talk with him, and he doesn't want to talk. He just wants to just fight. And we all know that when he was talking about seeing his mother die right in front of him, we know another person who had that experience also.
Batman,
because his parents died in front of him also. So there was that moment right there. And then we get the Monster Valley days later, where he's on another island, and Vixen and the Ray, I just remembered, went to go check on him, and they're like saying, will you be okay? And then it's like, and then he just says, just one sooner or later, if things happen, you'll find me, for that reason. And then we have Lobo, who talks with the Atom. And I think that they're getting like more of a bond with each other instead of a little, because they weren't getting along at first, but now they are. Meanwhile, elsewhere we had, do you know this person, Nadine Terrell?
No.
Well, she's actually going to be in this issue where she has voices in her head, and it's for the next issue called The Wish Killer. And for those of you who want to know who she is, it's this person right here. I thought maybe you know her because Justice League of America. It's good that it's just wondering, you know. But The Wish Killer. So I'll be definitely interested in looking up and checking out on that one. And that's all the books for me. So 2 more.
Supergirl Being Super, issue number 4. I really enjoyed this issue.
And it has the rim thing.
The big question is there an issue 5? I hope there's an issue 5, because I feel like there was still too much left at the end for there not to be. So we find out that the scientist that's chasing her down and the other Kryptonian down, basically it's Lex Luthor and Luthor Corps. It's not even really the government as much as it's Luthor Corps who wants to get information about the aliens, because we all know it. This is around the beginning of Superman's time also. So she and the alien, I forgot his name, she and her friend end up breaking in to, oh wait, I have his name. His name is right here. Tannen. Her and Tannen end up breaking into a facility because her friend gets kidnapped. She gets attacked. And captured. Tannen ends up saving her, killing almost everybody except for the doctor, whom we all want to be killed because she's a bitch. And then she ends up finding out that Tannen just wants to kill everyone, doesn't believe that Krypton's gone. She remembers that Krypton is gone now, and apparently all of her superpowers. She saves her friend. Tannen runs away, calls her a traitor. And now she's left, you know, having to deal with or save, you know, she's trying to tell Tannen that Krypton is gone, that she was one of the last ones to see it as it died, and he thinks that she's lying in order to save the Earth. So she finds out about a dude called Superman, who started making appearances in Metropolis. So, without telling her parents, because they're being observed by Luthor and his thugs, she goes to Metropolis and waits to find Superman. Superman makes an appearance, and, well, it ends off with her saying to Superman, I think we need to talk. Can I talk with you for a second? And that's where it's left. I hope that there is more to this story, because I want to see what happens to Tannen. I want to see the confrontation with the meeting with Superman. I don't remember if this is the end of the book or not. I don't remember if it's 4 or 5 parts. I truly and honestly don't. And I hope that there's another part. I don't even remember. I'm going to have to go check my pre-orders later. This was one of the last books I read I'm really hoping that there's an issue 5 to conclude it all. I believe there is an issue 5. I'd be stupid. Maybe there's even an issue 6. I never really, I try to stay out of the solicits as much as possible. I like to pre-order my books from DCBS, and that's it. I have the previews magazine I've been buying because I wanted to do a preview video. Oh, Strike Raid Unit, what's up, man? It's a 4-part.
Oh, Supergirl.
Okay, so then I guess that's the end. Okay. Well, if there is a 5th part or a new volume, what's going on? Then, yeah. But last book, Action Comics 982. Superman goes to the Fortress of Solitude to try to figure out how to heal himself from being blind, while the Revenge Squad decide, hey, everything we all want and need is at his Fortress of Solitude, so we have to attack it. So Superman's trying to figure out his blindness is permanent or not. The Revenge Squad attack, and Superman, to defend Lois and John, who are inside the fortress, fights the Revenge Squad. Awesome artwork. I love this artwork. I tell you guys, nothing beats this artwork in this book. And what happens is, because Superman is so weak, I really like this issue. Me too. Kalex sends out a distress call to all of the Super Family. Remember the spears he gave all the Super Family? It sent a distress call out to all of them. And while he's fighting the Revenge Squad, obviously, fighting them one-on-one, he has a problem. Blind and 5-on-1, yeah, he goes down pretty quick. However, Superman has his own squad to be continued. Oh, man, what a perfect way to end this book. I can't wait for the next issue now even more. This was an excellent issue. I'm loving action. Superman is so good. Thank you, God. After Rebirth started, Superman has been nothing but up, up, and up. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy that Action Comics and Superman are 200 times better than they were during New 52. So good. I'm very happy about that. And with that, that's it for this review, guys. So it is the 4th of July. So let's go out with a 4th of July number, right? That was $3.99. There are no more episodes left. The next episode is 400. The 400th review is coming, and it is coming 1 week from today, from Monday. Well, now it's Tuesday. It's 3 in the morning.
3:30, almost 4 in the morning, actually.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It will be next Monday. This weekend coming up. There will be hopefully a few videos for Dark Avenger C86. There will be an announcement this weekend on Comic Frontline about where the review is going after 400, where we're going from here. Announcements surrounding my channel a little bit. I'm going to touch on it in the announcement on this channel. On my channel, after 400 drops, which it will drop on Monday on Frontline, and then it'll be dropped on Wednesday on my channel, but the podcast will go up. The Dark Avenger podcast will go up before it, obviously. I will have episode 399. If you're watching this episode right now, you are watching it on Wednesday of this week.
Right.
I believe. Am I right or am I wrong?
I don't know. You've been keeping track.
You're definitely watching this either Wednesday or Friday of this week. I don't know of episode 398. I think 398 was set for Wednesday.
Monday.
Was it Monday?
I think you said Monday. But
I'm going to check. If not, if 398 comes out Wednesday, this episode will be Friday. And we just did episode 1. You done? I will be up to 400 next. So, the podcast will be up this weekend on my channel, which will update on what's going to be going on my channel. The Dark Avenger 400 announcement video will be up on Frontline. It's going to be short, sweet. It's just going to give you guys an idea of what's going to happen. And then on the Dark Avenger podcast, I'll flesh it out a little bit more. I'll explain what's going on, and then I'll even expand further into other things that will be happening on Dark Avenger C86. And with the I don't want to drop anything, because one little hint drops the whole thing. You guys will know before 400 drops where we're going with 401 on. If even. I always like to leave them guessing all the way to the end. So is 400 the end? Is 400, going to be just another 100 and we move forward? What's that Lady Death on the wall? That is Lady Death This one. Wicked Ways issue 1, and it's a jeweled cover. It has jewels on it. So stay tuned for the announcement. This week, no Dark Avenger Live. The last time. This is the 4th of July week. There will be no Frontline Live on Tuesday night, which is tonight. There will be no Dark Avenger Live on Friday. We are going to be strictly focusing on 400. That is my focus for the next week, is to read this Wednesday's books, get them ready for the 400th review, and come back on Monday with the 400th review. So that is my focus all week long as far as comic books go. As far as other things go, check out our personal channels. All of them are on Frontline's main page. Keep an eye on Frontline Gaming Zone. We are doing little little playthroughs here and there. I'm working on my own, Twitch right now as well. Follow all those. Keep an eye out. Like I said, we got the announcement coming up. And that's it. I'm tired. It's 3:44 in the morning. We are Comic Frontline, your #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. If you like what you saw here, click the sub button. This way we're in your sub box and you don't miss out on a single video. If you're watching this on my channel, you are watching Dark Avenger C86. And if you're new to this channel, hopefully you'll click that sub button as well, because there are going to be things coming your guys' way soon. Keep an eye out for the Dark Avenger podcast, episode 9. Episode 8 is pre-400. There will be an episode 8. Episode 9, we'll talk about what we're going to be doing after 400 on Dark Avenger C86. Because right now, that's the focal point, like I said. Till then, take care, everybody. Keep reading, keep collecting. And we'll see you guys really soon. The countdown begins. 6 days.
Yep.
Till 400. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you guys then.
Hey, everybody.